Milan is the high altar of the fashion world. The manufacture of top-quality clothes has made it the richest city in Italy. Thanks to the flair and business acumen of the textile industry, the economy of this city has thrived since the mid-20th century, its success touching places as remote as the Far East. Today, Milan has its very own Chinatown, a Chinese quarter right in the middle of the city which continues to expand. The Chinese here operate around 500 shops, importing cheap goods from the homeland and selling them on to other dealers. Life around the Via Sarpi has been radically changed. The narrow street is not really suitable for intense activity. Locals in the neighbourhood are outraged. The Chinese have established themselves in an area not suitable for wholesale commerce. It's too small for that. Initially it was just a few of them. Within 3 years it was 250, and now we have 500 shops in this narrow place. It's certainly the responsibility of the municipal authorities to see to this. Pier Franco Leonetto has appointed himself spokesperson for the discontented locals and set up a pressure group to deal with this. The long-time residents of the area who look back nostalgically on the past are giving him support. They feel edged out by the Chinese. The small stores where I used to shop have sold up. Even the butcher's gone. There's no one left in our quarter now. The Chinese keep themselves to themselves. They exclude others from their circle. They're completely self-contained. They have their own walking clinics, be they legal or illegal, even their own banks. The Sarpi is divided. Shops at ground level are under Chinese ownership, but above them there are Italians living in the flats above. At the beginning of the year, the Conservative City Council of Milan decided to take action. We found ourselves faced with a situation that doesn't conform to municipal law, and what's more, the state of affairs has been escalating. Local inhabitants have demanded that the police exercise stricter controls on the retail practices of the Chinese-run businesses. So we instructed the police to ensure that the Chinese keep to the rules and regulations. Milan must not become a second Shanghai, says the deputy mayor. Since the beginning of the year, controls have been tightened and penalties imposed. Loading and unloading times had to be strictly adhered to. The use of hand carts wasn't permitted. The Chinese felt they were being harassed. Over the last few months they've tried, dare I say it, to drive us out, but they cannot do that. When we bought the shops we did everything perfectly legally, all above board. You would hardly credit it. I'm 60 years old. Am I to lug around this huge package on my shoulders? How do you expect me to work without a handcart? We pay taxes, we're all law-abiding. Italians think they're the only ones entitled to eat, that the Chinese should go hungry. If we work, they tell us, no, that's not right, you should sit quietly and do nothing at all. That's how it is.
Loro dicono no va bene quando lavora. Deve stare fermo, seduto e così. Okay? Ciao.
Chinese complain that no one has explained the new regulations to them, so they no longer know what's allowed and what isn't. If the Chinese can't legally use handcarts anymore, they'll have to carry their wares on their shoulders. But that's subject to a fine. We're not allowed to use the cart on the road, so we think we'll push it along the pavement, but that too is not permissible. Many resort to using a bicycle, but even that's forbidden. Italians must not just respect the letter of the law, but also the human angle. However, it's also important that guests arriving in our country looking forward to friendship and hospitality observe our laws and regulations. It's not on that loading is prohibited at all times of day. That makes it impossible for Chinese traders to do their work. They see their livelihood threatened. I have sought to explain this to the city authorities, but our high-level talks did not have any positive results. So the tension has increased.
E poi dato che nessun risultato positivo.
This powder keg exploded one day in April. It was sparked off when a Chinese woman received a parking ticket. Who initiated the fighting is not yet clear, but the pent-up anger and resentment could no longer be restrained. In Europe, this was the first ever riot involving Chinese immigrants. 13 police officers and 7 Chinese ended up being treated in hospital. Even the Chinese authorities were taken aback. The Consul General warned Italy on behalf of Peking of the consequences that could follow the dispute. Italians felt provoked. It was not a threat. The Peking government merely said it would not be desirable to allow this incident to have a negative effect on good bilateral relations between the two countries. In my opinion, it was a plain statement. But when national feelings are aroused and flags flown, emotions run high. Chinese banners were succeeded by those of the right-wing populist party, the Northern League, which stands for hardline opposition to immigration. We should not tolerate these disturbances against the police. After all, these people must not forget they are here in our country as guests, and eventually guests do have to pack their bags.
Che ha un solo logo, la valigia!
But the Chinese do want to stay here. Normal life has returned to Via Sarpi. Chinese trade dealers will get together with officials to look for a solution.